Here he is, Harry Harrison. I've only brought this on for show, I don't generally drink it. I was talking to my old mate Brian Cliff, the folk singer. Now, he come down to my pub, the Park Inn at Woodsetton, bottom of Sedgley Hill. And I don't know whether you've noticed, in public houses, ladies and gentlemen, people always sit in the same place, or they stand in the same place, don't they? I went to do a feature for the Midland Chronicle about, 2 years ago in the bush at Wood Lane, Bramwich. There's room for 300 to sit down. They were about 44 in. I sat down, bloke says, I'm in my place, he says. Right? And they always stand in the same place in the pubs. And if I'm trying to get through, mate, you want A to Z or a bulldozer or something to shift on some on them. And it's a bitter experience, putting it mild, when your beer gets spilled and your clothes get soiled, because there ain't no gangway through the masses for a bloke to take his tray and glasses. It's game where they stand, no bother, I bet you've seen them all round the bar. Them like a chain gang, yeah, they stand with the pints and the halves stuck in on. Them there by the pulls with I'm all right. 10 to 1 in the same spot, night after night, laughing and gaming, cracking jokes. They ain't really a bad crowd of blokes, but they stand in fast, they won't budge. You can go and excuse me, give 'em a nudge. You're wasting your time, they won't give way up and wait all night and perhaps next day. Them happy hour kid, them there with the mates, stuck by the bar in the standing up sights. If the gaffer told them they could sit, I bet you're half on them would throw a fit, or they'd really pull a face. Somehow feel out of place, away from the bar with its counter attraction, where the beer's in rage and there's more action. It'd be a test for Georgie Best to find a way through when I'm pressed, and by the time you'll get there, if you can, you're perhaps too late, and the towel's on. So if the worst comes to the worst, beat 'em to it, get in first, and it's 10 to 1 if you do, be out by the bar, with them in the queue. Queues are, it makes you wonder today with different queues and folks going round. Little shop at Gornal, there's old man in there, bloke goes in one day and mistook the shop for a backer shop, you know, he's going in for a double woodbine. Couldn't believe his eyes. Stacked out it was with balls of whitening. Everywhere you could look, balls of whitening. This bloke looked, you know, rung the bell, one of them old fashions on the counter, old man shuffled it, this is what he had. He says, double woodbine, he said, thou sell fakes. Thou sell fakes. He says, well, have you got some snuff? He says, I like a pinch of snuff. He says, I don't sell snuff. He says, well, what you sell? He says, oh, he says, I already sell whitening. He says, I think you'll do. He says, I've never seen so much bloody whitening in a shop in my life, he says. He says, you must have 1,000 balls of whitening here. He says, 2,798 balls of whitening. He says, and when he comes next week, I'll have 3,333 balls of whitening. Well, the bloke says, you must sell some whitening. Oh, I never sell no whitening. Oh, yeah, I sold no whitening for 2 years. But I tell you, mate, you want to see that bloke sell bloody whitening as he sells it to me, he says. Selling. When you go in the shops, have you read the shop assistance prayer? It's a plea to folks to treat them fair, to make their minds up what they're wanting, so they got time to do the canting and not to make a lot of fuss when they got nothing in the puss. It's their kid, it's like a show, they go in, mini, miny, mo. First they want it, then they do. And if it's closing time, they still don't know. Now run the shop folks round in rings and they want to see 10,000 things. Pop round the markets, ask 'em who'll save. A lot of folks have got a nerve. When they've handled all the stock, they come out with old poppycock. Oh, thanks a lot, I'll go and see. I might come back 'cause it's for me now. Nobody wants a pig in a poke. But some of the shoppers, and past a joke. If it's hats and shoes, they try the lot and ask 'em if it's all they got. Assistance. They must want assistance themselves when they don't strip the shelves. And after they've upset the shop, they'll stun and they watch the shop folks drap. And when they see the knees 'em bent, they take the hooks and they leave 'em spent. So when it's make your mind up time, just think about that little rhyme. On your won't drive nobody down the twist, going down your shopping list. But don't blame me and make a fuss if you've got nothing left in your puss. Now, I was talking to Mike Bailey, old friend of mine. He's on the Shropshire Star now, but he used to work with me at West Midlands Press, and I do circulation work as well as public relations and editorial. Public relations work, they couldn't have a better bloke doing public relations work. I've got more relations going in publics in the Black Country than anybody. And news agents, take pity, brother, if you can. Think about the paperman. With hundreds of items stuck in the head, they race out of bed feeling half dead. They're up at Valley straight on the job, pleasing the public to make a few bob, surrounded with gossip, banging the news. But who'd be in the paperman's shoes? I've scrutinised him and I must confess, he's expressing wizard to keep out a mess. It's a laugh, a cry, mid stress and strife. He's some tidbits from his sporting life. Just take the blokes who go into work. They look as though they'll go berserk if perhaps there's been a paper strike and they all get just what they like. The women and all, they grunt and groan. If the weekly's gone or the woman's own, it's the truth, our kid, no sap soap. They give him the headache, leak or cope, and some don't buy nothing. They take the rooks, after looking at papers or perhaps at books. And it's pandemonium in the shop. If the paper kid's missing, he's in a flap. When the holidays come, his blood's on the boil. He's got stacks of papers in a pile. What bit of hair he's got is going grey. They've gone away, and they bother to say. The profit's gone from the prophet's job, but he presses on to make a few bob. So spare a final thought if you can, and take pity, brother, on the paperman. Thank you very much. Thank you. Bloke in a pub, you know, he's there drinking beer like this. And chap comes in, see, vicar. He says, have a drink with me. Bosh, right down. Another 5 minutes, have another drink with me, the vicar says. He says, I don't mind, it's all down again. Another 5 minutes. Have a drink with me, he said. He says, I don't mind at all, another pint. Another 5 minutes, the vicar went up. He says, get me another drink. He said, you can have another drink, he said. Barman, pint of bitter, please, and a pint of water. Got the pint of water, pint of bitter. And he says to the drunk, he says, now watch this. Took a little tin out his pocket, took a weigh mat on it, dropped it in the waiter, bosh. Straight to the bottom, swimming round, doing the breaststroke, somersaulting and all sorts. Took him out the waiter, put him in the beer, bosh again, straight to the bottom, stopped there, stone dead. He looked at the drunk, he says, what does that prove, mate? He says, anybody who drinks bitter won't ever have the worms. True. Very, very true. And the windmill down the Woods Estate, Wednesbury, a little kid went in there the other week, 7-year-old. He says, gives a pint of bitter. Misses the back of the bar, says, of course, here we are. He says, fetch somebody who's gone. It's the truth, I'm like that, you know. But what a change it is today with all the old stuff disappearing, you know, when you think about the disappearing scene. And I wrote one on Bilston Market around about 1950. And if there's anybody in this room who's been on Bilston Market, they'll visualise the outside market, and I took it in the sequence as what it was then. Have you all stood round old marketplaces? Sid the folks with the eager faces, who crowding round and on a loft at the market folks selling all sorts of. Old uns, young uns selling shirts, fat uns, thin uns, flogging skates, baskets full of graded eggs and fancy stockings to suit all legs, yards of linen, net and curtain. Very cheap, that's for certain, towels, socks, ties and shoes, latest records for blarting blues, blethers to blow, soup to eat, pork pie, sausages, all sorts of mate, apples and oranges, tomatoes and grapes, whitenings, wallpapers, paints and tapes. And a woman there shouted, get your powder, stack of the wenches, start to crowd her, for the stuff to make the faces pretty. Bin board special from the city, pots and pans, buckets and dishes, and the bloke who stuns and simply wishes the women would buy him instead of rushing to get a frock or a fancy cushion, pencils, biros, drawing books, crayons, hair comes, tooth comes, air dyes for greyhounds, rose trees, flower seeds, stuff for your lawns, toothpaste, polishes, plasters for cones, cups and saucers, plates and mugs, carpets, linos, doormats, rugs, taters, fish, cakes and honey. All you want, just the money. Earrings, pendants, brooches, watches, some good, some catches, dog food, cat food, bird food and so on, overcoats and jackets and boots second on. Why, these great big superstores you'll see, they're buying the 1, 2, 3 for me, not for the atmosphere. In the old marketplaces, we have to see them folks with the eager faces. And have you all noticed these folks as go abroad for their holidays now, eh? Especially if they go to Mallorca or Spain or the Costa Brava or somewhere, 12 months before they go, you've got it. And 12 months after they come back, louder ball. Aye, it's the truth. And there's plane loads now flying off. Abroad for olds, you got a lot. Spain and Mallorca, I've heard them on, but I missed the one when they're gone. And when they try that foreign stuff, they can't fly back quick enough. Your mind, it's nice to fly away, so when you're back, you can say, oh, Tito's in Palma, that's the place to just pop in and show your face. And you want to see the caves of Jack. You'll hear 'em, mate, when they get back. What a night at the barbecue. Oh, that really was a Boston do. Wine and music mixed together and the sweating folks in the red hot weather with the Spanish blokes with the flashing eyes can give a wench a nice surprise. Oh. Change is very nice, our kid, to tell your mates what you've said. But I'll bet you how some who went will think of Kinver, the Lickies and Clent, where the good old pubs have proper beer, not stuff to make your belly queer. This country, mate, will take some licking. Some was in heaven just stopped picking. And that they put labels on the cases to show off with them brand off faces. Your mind, it's nice to fly away, but it's better flying back, I'd say. Yeah. I said earlier on, you know, some days nothing goes right, does it? Some days, somehow, nothing goes right. Break a day till late at night. You perhaps say you slept and you feel half dead as you force yourself out of bed. You're bleary-eyed and you just go rush. And you find the toilet just won't flush. The gas keeps going on and off. The kettle won't boil, you'll try to laugh. But then you'll find you're out of tie and them next door have gone away. You fling your arms to just get up and nicely smash a china cup. It's one of them days when you can't win. You can't work out where you've been. The breadman's left you in the court, the car's packed up, it just won't start. And the postman comes to make it worse with 3 big bills to make you cuss. The baby's blotting in his pram, his face all bolted up with jam. The cat's had kittens under the bed, you can't describe them as they've made. And the kids on holiday are in and out, and all they do is bawl and shout. You've pegged your washing on the line, and you'll pray to heaven it just stops fine. But then you hear a clap of thunder. It makes you feel like going under. But take no notice, you'll be okay. You'll live to fight another day. No, we had to live to fight other days, you know. Every day is a bit of a fight, really, you know. You never know what you're going to meet when you go into places or where. Have you noticed folks at weddings? I was talking to Maurice Jones and John Raven about this. When people go to weddings, they're a different set of folks to what they've been when they're at work. They go into the wedding of the Saturday and they sit there after they've gone in through the doors and they've had the sherry, and Aunt Lil looks along the road and they've sat there nicely and they say, well, I bloody know he was marrying to your family. Because you know, I mean, you know, as they were married when, you know that, do you? Right? And you know Erskine too. I mean, her husband, you know who her husband was, do you? Entertainment secretary at the club, do you? 25 yards of that pattern carpet missing. Have you seen their dining room since it's been done? Very true, how people quickly change, you know. And if you analyse folks how they change the old time, it's marvellous really with kids at school as well, how when you grow up you've got these memories. And how your memories will change about your school days. And you start to think of all sorts of things that have come over the years, you know. I remember some of the kids when I was at school and watching them, and I thought, I wonder what they'll be when they grow up. And we're hopefully going to America in some time in the future. Actually, I went to America 4 years ago and I was in Texas. And I was sat there in this pub, you know, having a game cards, and there was 2 or 3 cowboys in there. And the one was dressed all in black big Stetson on low-slung guns, you know. Fill you full of confidence, you've met the sort, you know. And he must have thought I was cheating. He says, go for your gun. So I come back to tip him for it. Just a quick one before we go, I'll just tell you this. Now, you've all had a drink or two and we've all enjoyed your company. It's been lovely to meet you. But have you ever heard that Enoch, you know, was a knocker-up? Now, sometimes he knocked at knockets and sometimes he used to knock at knackets. And if you're going to join in the chorus, go steady past your grannies. Now, join with me in this just to finish it off in a nice friendly vein. Now, Enoch knocks on Mrs. Knackett's knocker. On Mrs. Knackett's knocker, Enoch knocks. Every morning just at 4, Enoch knocks the knocker on Mrs. Knackett's door. He used to knock at knockets, but now he knocks at knackets. Knocking knockers, Enoch's got the knack, go. Enoch knocks on Mrs. Knackett's knocker. On Mrs. Knackett's knocker, Enoch knocks. Thank you. Have you had to go to the doctors lately for any reason? I eat a game at the doctor. You've got to make an appointment to the doctors now. I found my doctor up Wednesday last week. I went to the flu March to the 7th to the 14th next year. And he's booked up. You call get in. And I chatted to him the other day up Sedley Conservative Club. He said, well, I've got to look after the regulars. It ain't fair, is it? Huh? Well, I got one of the days that worked at the Bean tipping last year at British Island, a bloke dropped a casting on his foot. Terrible state. He went down the doctor's there. Oh, you ought to see it. He said, what's the with this? He says, limp. Very true. You've never seen a place like tipping in your life. There's a bloke been on the labour there 24 years and 9 months. I've just found him a job. He wants some redundancy money. Oh, yeah, it's the tipping now. Wonderful place. Wonderful place. It is. It's a great place, tipping is. Now, at the Prince of Wales, a bloke walked in the other week naked as a robin. He hadn't got a stitch on. Says to the missus, the back of the counter, she says, gives a pint of mix. They looked him up and down, more down than up and running the back. Says to her husband, bloke naked in the bar, he says, he's dreaming. He says, never mind dreaming. You're going to have a look, he bowed in, big bloke. He looking boggle-eyed at this customer in his birthday suit. Chap says, come on out, pal. Let's have some service, he says. Pint of mixed. I got enough with the domino players. Dart players looking at me. Gaffer looked at him, he couldn't believe it. He looked him up and down, pinched his self. He says, clothes, old pal, clothes. He says, these are my working clothes, mate. He says, you've got nothing on. He says, well, I had done nothing for about 20 years. Oh. I don't care for nothing. And I got a son, a schoolmaster, deputy headmaster of a school, and when he was doing his teaching practice in Tip, the kid shot his hand up, he says, hey, I got a pencil. Philip says, what do you say? He says, hey, I got a pencil. He says, what did you say? He says, hey, I got a pencil. Philip says, I haven't got a pencil, I haven't got a pencil. Kid says, well, who's got all the bloody pencils? But Dudley, this old couple of Dudley, what John Raven's been on about, they got a daughter, married Australian, 21 years ago, week last Monday. And I'm living in Sydney and I got 3 grandchildren, this old man and this old woman, never see them. And suddenly they won £75,000 on Little Woods, and they fled away to Sydney. And they'd never been past Wolverhampton. The old man in his braces and the old missus there with him in the morning, going along Bondi Beach. Walking there, you know. He said, look at that owl, Lizzie, he said. Looking out to sea, the little boat, you know, got some rope on, a bloke stood on a board hanging on, going round the bay. Great big bronze lifeguard come by, he says, what's he doing now, kid? Oh, he says, he's safe riding. Just as he said that, a bloody big shark come and pulled him off. He says, he ain't as bloody safe as he thought he was. And none of us safe today, is there? Well, ain't none of us safe, it's right, that we. Oh, good too. You've got to have some lops on your travels. Like at West Bromwich, when I was working on that West Brom News for a John the Chronicle, we used to go in the Sandwell Hotel on a Friday, the editors of the papers, and we'd sit down and have a nice little meal or something and a drink, discuss the week or whatever. And they got a waiter there and he become very officious. Very, very officious he was. Got a bit about him, you know. Started to wear a tie at the finish. And Red Indian come one day, sat down at the table. This bloke went across to him, he says, have you got a reservation? And he says, no, we're in a flat on Beaches Road. I'm quick, are they, and all? Oh, I'm very, very quick today, especially round our road. They've only got to slabs and wet, and now it's been raining. Have you noticed some days nothing never goes right for you, eh? Some days, somehow, nothing goes right, does it? It don't matter what you do, you know, you can pick the phone up, or things will go all wrong, you know. It was the same with Enoch at Tippen when he worked at the Waiterworks, at Tippen. Every week he was late 3 mornings, and the gaffer called him one morning, he says, listen, if you're late 3 times next week, he says, you got the sack. He went nap, he was late every morning the next week. He get him the sack of the Friday, he come back in the yard Monday morning, he says, hey, come here, Blossom. He said, I'll give you all the sack Friday. He said, no, you did not forget you over the weekend. What a difference with old pubs and the new ones, eh? When you go in these new pubs now, I'm just having a nice conversation, a lovely point, congenial people, somebody comes in, bosh, put something in the jukebox, you've had it. When the old pubs go, it is a shame. Because the new ones, they'll never be the same. Though the lights are dim, it's pretty clear. The old atmosphere our kid there. A working man's parliament pubs used to be, but them days, them going if you ask me. Today they're mostly commercialised. That's one thing what they are disguised. What chance have you got to get folks talking? With them jukeboxes, all this squawking. When they'm turned up, it makes you wonder if they've upset the God of Thunder. How can you spike when you go think? Them things drive 'em on to drink. They'd rather hear the tinkle of a tanner than a sing-song. Ran the old Joanna, and it ain't just talking on the strap. Anything for money is there on tap. Them too artificial, they be like a bar. Now it's cock and bull, and it's lardy-dar. Mind you, spittoons and sawdust, them perhaps best gone. But still it's sad, as there's hardly one with a fire in the grate to welcome you in. You'll get a tail with your ale. I care how you've been. It's the company what counts, I suppose. But when you see the old pubs close, it seems to me to be a shame, because these new ones, they'll never be the same. Thank you. Now, when you think, ladies and gentlemen, about the difference with the old pubs and the new, and when you go in the pub, how about the blokes as goes darting, he goes dominoes, fishing, rugby players, cricketers, golfers, and they leave the poor ladies at home. Oh, I ain't ashamed. Just think a bit, without a doubt. There's plenty of sporting with us about. Now, I don't say some have lost the spouse, but some blokes are, kid, them never in the house. You'll take the darting with us. Them everywhere, while he's off darting. And on the beer, it's 2 to 1 as he's in trouble if he ain't throw the winning double. Fishing with us. You needn't scoff, they're blokes, they've simply floated off. Never mind what he wants to say, grubs for dinner, maggots for tea. He's off first light and out all day. After the one what got away. Pigeon widders got no chance. He's thinking of that bird from France. And if a spikes when a race is on, it's on with his coat and away he's gone. It's just the same with dominoes. You ask the wives, it's them who knows. Rugby widders them stuck at home, while he's got his head stuck in a crumb. And cricket widders in clover, while he's off bowling them over. And football widders, they call win. He never knows where he's been. And golfing widders do the nut, while all he does is put. If a bloke plays dominoes, goes fishing and darts, a bride's a widder afore he starts. Night after night, he wants to play, but it's at home, it's all his away. With him, his sport is number one, he's in and out as a sporting man. The answer, girls, is be the same. And join him in his little game. Thank you very much. And having lots about doctors and hospitals and places, but we would be without them. Hospitals and places, it could be denied. It was all on we hope as we can avoid. But that's the question, and you answer me. Without such places, where would we be? Them angels of mercy, I am the nurses, who coping with all sorts hospital cases. They coming from everywhere, all parts of the globe, to deal with some with the patients of Job, and the doctors and the surgeons who do the operations. Like the nurses, they coming from nearly all nations. We depend on them all, and just though it seem the way they work, they're great as a team. So if you have to go in hospital bed, don't tell the t'others as you're half dead. It's often the case, though you know, them next to you are worse than you. And don't be one to shout the nurse, so they all hear round the place. You'll help yourself to get back home by being a patient chum. So our kid, I hope you see what I mean. If you've got your health, you're a king or a queen, 'cause that's your riches, that's your finest treasure. You call your health with money measure, 'cause your health's like everything, never you fear. You don't know you got it till it ain't there, and then it makes you appreciate the doctors and the nurses. Do it, mate. Thank you. I think we appreciate everything the more that you go on in life, ladies and gentlemen, more that you tend to look back in retrospect and think about the days, you know. I played cricket out this way before the war, and since the war at Little Shull and Newport and round this area, I used to come to St George's, and I made a lot of friends through cricket and this. And you must have heard about the cricketer who married his first slip. Very true, you know. Actually, I knew a bloke this way. He was courting 30 year, and he got his missus one night there, just down the Star pub down the road here by that opening. And he says, "Do you think it's about time we got married, Mary Ann?" I says, "Who's going to wait you?" Oh. Mind you, he got no chance of getting in the Guinness Book of Records. I'd got a mate, he was courting 41 year and then retired undefeated. I come coating this way for the war, 1933. Wench named Rachel, down towards Tongue here. I used to call her Rach because her runs was all over the place, you know. I went to see the fair the one day. I said, "I'd like to marry you, Rach." He says, "How high?" he says. I says, "Hard I would." I thought I can speak as posh as you. He says, "How much a wig do you earn?" Well, I says, 35 and a tanner. I thought that'll shake him. He says, 35 and a tanner, he says. That wouldn't keep my daughter in handkerchiefs. I said, "Well, I don't want to marry this snotty-nosed bugger then." Just to conclude this half, ladies and gentlemen, I've had a few letters through the post and a couple of phone calls through press offices to do one that I recorded for BBC Two last year. And if I can very quickly explain where I come to write that one, funnily enough, in recent weeks it's been a bit history repeated itself with the power cuts. I called it Reflections in Candlelight, and it's in the brochure that You'll be able to get at half time if you're interested. And it's as well to know where people get inspired to write various stuff, and it was at the Institute for the Blind at Sedgley about 9 years ago. Strangely enough, I've done a concert just this afternoon for members of Tipton and Wheel who've done a concert for the local blind, and a lot of the people who were in the room at Sedgley were there this afternoon at this church. At that time, ladies and gentlemen, everyone was reduced to candles. I'm sure you well recall it. And everybody was moaning because they couldn't switch the television on, because you couldn't use your electric washers, irons and so forth, you know. We were all a little bit on edge. And when I went to this place, a 400, 500 audience, everybody, like everybody else, of course, was in the light of candles. But a little bit different to us mortal people who've got everything. A lot of these blind people had never even seen the light of a candle. And if there's anybody in this room tonight who's ever thinks you're hard done to, under stress and strain, and we all do, just get a candle and light it in the dark. And if you can see it, go down on your knees and you'll thank God. Because a simple candle in a room can show you up. Life ain't all gloom. Even when we're in a plight still out of darkness comes the light, which causes reflections, perhaps more clear. We don't miss nothing till it ain't there. We've been living in enlightened days. We're money grabbing. It set folks ablaze. And the daily cry for bigger wages, it's plunged we back to darker ages, plain as a pikestaff, in black and white. It's time we all see that light. Let's consider a bit without the jokes. Think of the blind, the afflicted folks, the people in bed, and the people in pain, and the old folks whose path they hardly again are. It's time we all went to school to learn about the golden rule. Could the doctors really strike with all the nurses in the midst of coping with hospital cases? Could housewives and pensioners all join a strike just 'cause they ain't got what they'd like? No. It's the putting in, not the taking out, what lightens life's load without a doubt. I think we should all have misgiving when we count the cost of living. So in our darkest hours, let's smile and bear it, 'cause a load, it's spread if you'll only share it, and you'll really get your values right if you'll just reflect in candlelight. Have you ever stopped and thought a while? You've got untold wealth just to see a smile. The blessings what you've got, if you can only see, you'll never ever buy them off the MEB. And the gifts what you've got to see that light, they'll see you through the darkest night. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.